Hi everybody, my name is Paul Nyman. I'm the Managing Director at Paul Nyman Consultancy. I've been operating this recruitment business for the last 20 years or so, and I combined that experience with having operated as an external recruiter in a range of large international blue chip businesses, both here in the UK, Europe and in the US. What I've done over the next couple of minutes is put together a overview profile of my experience of recruiting to assist those who need to put together a CV in these tough recruiting times. Adding the numbers together, what I've accumulated is probably the opportunity to have read anywhere in the excess of 1 million CVs. I've interviewed somewhere in the region of about 70,000 hours of interviews, and I've made several hundreds of appointments in a multitude of different organisations. I've recruited in that time from both junior administrator level all the way through to chief executive. And so what I want to share with you over the next couple of minutes, I'm about to go into a share screen to illustrate with you how to put together a CV, how to make that CV as impactful as possible in your efforts to find that new role, to have the direct hit with the recruiting manager who's receiving in the current marketplace probably anywhere between 20 and 400 CVs per application, and to make sure that yours is the one that ultimately stands out most of all. It is a tough marketplace. You need to get yourself seen. And so without further ado, what we're going to do is going to lead in. We're going to talk about that CV, and I'll put some pointers out there. We will be sharing this with you with the opportunity for you to download it later on. And as ever, if you have any questions, always put them on the YouTube question piece. Some of the team will be looking at that over the next couple of months, and we'll get back to you where we can. Many people think that they are well averse with how to present their own skills and capabilities. But in the light of the current challenges in the marketplace, what I thought would be really helpful for everybody is actually me sharing the 30 or so years I've got experience. On the one side, I've operated as a recruitment consultant, which is where I am now. On the other side, I've actually worked as an internal recruiting manager. So in both parts of my career, I have experience where I've had to identify and understand individuals' capabilities really quickly once they arrive on the desk of any recruiting manager, whether they be a recruitment consultant or whether they be a recruiting manager. And what I've done is I've put together a profile CV here, which I am going to share with you now, and talk through the capabilities of what you want to show on a CV. I'll talk through those pieces. We will be sharing this with you online for you to download and use as well. What I would ask is that you use, obviously, any questions that you have. We'll put together a couple of fact sheets if that's going to be of help. Do put some notes on. They will be on our YouTube channel that you can pick up the information from. And just kicking off, if we look at these guidance notes, it's fairly self-explanatory in terms of what we have in here. But the first thing that I would point out, really, really straightforward. It may seem rather strange in this day and age, but actually put your address on the CV, as you can see. With the address, what it does, it links for any recruiting manager the opportunity to identify your name with your location. And the key reason for that is a recruiting manager or a recruiting consultant may be dealing with multiple roles. If they can identify where you live, and they identify sort of the circumference of commuting area, they may be managing other projects that may suit you other than the one that they're currently talking to you or have advertised. And therefore, it gives a really quick identification piece. Really important is that the mobile phone works and the email address works. So ensure that those email addresses are functional, that they represent you professionally, and it looks really effective. Second point is the personal statement. This comes up in terms of on many occasions in discussions that I have with individuals in the market. And from this point of view, the personal statement, it's not a repetition of your CV, but a very quick, as it says here, a few lines, not multiple paragraphs. It allows you to just very quickly express what you are about, as opposed to everything that you are about, and then delve into your work experience. Your work experience should always begin with the first most recent. And the reason for that is because it allows any recruiting manager to see exactly where you are in terms of your current role and responsibilities. So talk about the business that you're in, in terms of when you started, and talk a little bit about the organisation that you're working in, the product sector that they're looking after, the size of the business, maybe the size of the team that you're a part of, and then the position that you hold. And what that does for every recruiting manager, it gives this area here gives a really quick insight about you. That quick insight about you and the business that you're working with can create links and associations between the role that you're appointing to and their product, and actually the products that you've and categories that you've worked across in your career so far. Now we move on to the position that we've held. And the positions that you hold must be outlined in terms of responsibilities and also achievements. The responsibilities are really about the day-to-day pieces that you look after. So in terms of your responsibilities, talk about what you manage on a day-to-day and month-to-month basis. That's not to do with your achievements. Your achievements will come later on. And those achievements are very much around the key commercial achievements that you've created. They're achievements that you may have put in place over years of activity. It's about winning new projects. It's about increasing sales. It's about maximizing return on investment. It's about going above and beyond the norm, which shows you to be that exceptional individual. And secondarily, it's always in chronological order. So we can see here the second role comes after the first. Ensure that, again, a company description overlaying and outlining the roles and responsibilities that you've had within that organisation are included within a brief outline of the business, of what they do, their turnover, and the areas that the company specialise in. Outlining your responsibilities and your achievements, again, show how chronologically your capabilities have improved over the course of your career. What you'll see is that the size and scale and challenges of your activity will show a progression throughout your career. If there isn't that, it gives a further insight for the individual that actually you may be a progressive individual, for the recruiting manager that you may be a progressive individual, or actually you're looking to pursue a similar role at a similar level, and therefore you're happy with the opportunity that's being presented to them where there may be limited projects to move forward in your career. And finally, education. Education, whether it be great in terms of achieving a PhD or greater in terms of just qualifying from school, all of them are as important. So include your education, whether it be degree, PhD, or even BTECs and HNDs. All of them are key. Definitely always include your qualifications. Because there's one thing for sure, as a recruiting manager, if the qualifications are not included, and especially in the current marketplace where applications have increased by approximately 75%, that any questions which arise in this area where detail is missing, what the recruiting manager will do is he will assume that there is something that's not being shown on an open basis. So show that detail, put it in there, give an insight in terms of what you have achieved, and enable all those questions in a recruiting manager's mind to be answered. Because if they require a person with a first class degree in chemistry and you haven't put your qualifications in there, what you will find is you'll end up having a conversation that comes to nothing. It's better for that to be concluded rather than being called for interview that's then rejected. In the final part of any CV, and some people do question whether this is of great value or not, is about your personal interests. And this for me, and I share with you my insights, this for me is a real insight and a real opener about what people can do and they do in their outside worlds. As we've got highlighted on the template here, it gives an opportunity for people to talk about their experiences and their passions, but it also shows a great way of showing some of the skills that you can integrate within an organisation. So it can show team working, it can show how you deal with uncertainty, it can show how you deal with change. So, for example, you might be a scuba diver that goes sport diving in uncharted waters. Well, actually, that shows an ability to go exploring and deal with uncertainty. It might be that you're an individual that organises Duke of Edinburgh schemes. And actually, what that means is you're great at working in teams. It might be that actually you play for the England under-21 rugby team. Okay, and that shows a certain amount of commitment and character to have to build and develop yourself physically in order to achieve those goals and objectives. So personal interests are always really, really key. And they can sometimes be the turner that enable a recruiting manager to choose an individual to come forward for an interview, as much as it could be the person that the reason for it to turn somebody off. So I provide these highlights. I hope they are of help for all of you. I put this together really on the back of some 25, 30 years of experience that I have within FMCG. And as I said, posting this on YouTube, we will be putting together other programs. Do subscribe to the other programs that we're putting together. And I'll continue to put these together over the next couple of weeks and months as individuals are looking for new ideas in the marketplace. Once again, I wish you all the best out there. If there's anything that you need any help for, we'll be putting those packages together on the YouTube channel. So do keep in touch with that. Keep in touch with us on LinkedIn. And I wish you all the best in your future career applications. For now, thank you.